Hi there, I'm Lisa Hounds-Rodon, CEO and founder of Sublime Fragrances LLC. And today we're talking about how addiction triggers can easily be avoided and replaced for perfume oil positivity. This video was created with the intention to clarify some of the terms that are thrown around in the fragrance industry and to guide you and give you confidence in why formulations are the way they are. So, my first point is the power of familiarity. So, what makes a perfume familiar to the people is the fact that they have included brand accords. What an accord is, and we'll take for instance Memo Paris, which is a niche perfumery brand that I have come to know about, has an accord in which they include in all of their fragrances. This accord entails saffron and leather. So they use these two notes repetitively in all of their fragrances, and they claim that they like this because it gives the fragrance an adventurous undertone. As they should. That is their creative expression. That is what their brand represents. Other brands do this in the same way. Burberry, as you know and love, has that same gourmand background. It's unmistakable. You smell this accord in her, in Goddess, in Hero, in whatever kind of fragrance that they're making for the masses. It's how they get that sameness. It's how they get that uniformity across all of their fragrances. So this is a very powerful and persuasive tool in which these houses have created their perfumery. And I am not here to judge. I'm not here to say that it is wrong or they shouldn't be doing this. I am just giving the information to the people so that they can make an informed decision. And this is what I have come to know from my years of researching fragrance. So an accord is made to represent one thing and one thing only. It is a way to identify with an image, with a brand. An accord is an underlying hint, the background of a fragrance. The best way I can explain this is by using a musical reference. This metaphor entails that a composition, which are the notes, the meat, the thing of a fragrance that makes a fragrance, our triangle pyramid, is the lead singer. This is how we have adapted a fragrance pyramid and what we recognize it as. It is the forefront. It is whatever you are seeing on marketing, on the website, when you're on the hunt for a new fragrance, and they tell you that, hey, this is going to have this kind of structure with this top note, this middle note, and this bottom note. The background, the instrumentals of a song that they are playing are the instruments. The bass, the guitarist, the percussionist, that is what the accord is. And I'm just clarifying this because I see a lot of reference to accords being synonymous to composition. They are not one and the same. I'm not sure if this is some sort of SEO strategy that they are entailing here, but I'm Just clarifying, and I'm telling you that they are not the same. Okay, so now that we have explained this section of the video, I would like to move on to the next section here. So, because fragrance houses such as Chanel have been in business since the 50s, this accord becomes intrinsic to their DNA. And people, when they are putting on a fragrance, when we are putting on a perfume, this substance gets into our bloodstream. Not in a very high capacity, it is a very small capacity. I think it's 0.1%, 0.2%, something like that, depending on how you douse yourself in it. But essentially what happens is that it becomes intrinsic to the human body. It is enwrapped in our chemistry, in our nose, which is sent to our brain in a neural network. So when it's like an alarm, when you smell it, your brain goes, oh, I know that, and it accesses a neural pathway. And the more often your brain associates this scent to that neural network, the more powerful it becomes. So it is even more challenging to disassociate yourself from it. So here at Sublime, I have made this my mission to ex-nay any accord in my fragrances. And it's because of these reasons. I want people to experience a perfume for their trueness, their true form. Yes, the true nature of a perfume. When you purchase a perfume, you should know with full confidence that that perfume is indeed a fruity floral or a oceanic amber or a peppery floral, something. But you have to know with confidence that any sort of background noise that is introduced to a fragrance isn't really representative of what you are purchasing. Because when you, for example, Herb Burberry is a great example. This fragrance is supposed to be a fruity floral. I believe it has cherry blossom notes or something, or whatever. But the background, the accord that they use, is a gourmand. So if you know that you are not so inclined to gourmands, why should you purchase Her by Burberry? You see what I'm saying? It is a little bit, I don't want to say so far as deceiving, but there is kind of a trick there. When you're telling people that this is a formulation and it has these notes, and you classify this as a fruity floral, and that is what people are used to, people may induce a headache if they have a gourmand, if it is too sweet for them. I know that has definitely happened to me. I do not wear gourmands very well. I don't know what it is. They give me headaches. It is extremely nauseating. I just don't like them. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate them. I definitely appreciate them. But this is my point. As a consumer, you should have this information and make an informed decision. This industry is so opaque. This industry is one of the most opaque industries ever. And for good reason. Nobody wants to share their formulations. Nobody wants to share their secret sauce. Nobody truly wants to be dupeable. And yet, we have dupes everywhere. Everyone is copying everyone else. People have already copied me. And it is because people cannot think for themselves. We have forgotten what it really feels like to be free, to not conform. We are so used to being part of a cult, being a part of something that seems like it is something that I stand for. But at the end of the day, when you're adhering to the same message and you're adhering to, this, for example, Burberry, I see their commercials a lot. It's kind of the same, feminine, heroic scene, and she's got her trench coat on and she's flying through the air, I think this kind of imagery, yes, it can be a powerful thing, but also it is extremely deceptive. Like no one is that heavenly or that, this kind of like message that we're sending to people that, hey, when you wear this, you are an angel, or like a god. Is that really true? Like, is that really what we want to tell people? I think it is inflating a lot of egos, is my opinion. And I think we are missing reality. Totally. Like, I think a lot of us are just flying off the bandwagon, excuse, the expression, but when we go so far and into this haywire of, I want to be this cover girl or I want to be a supermodel, should that really be your only goal in life? The other reason why I have formulated Sublime the way it is because it is a much more effective way to layer fragrances. So in today's day and age, for the reasons that I have said before regarding accords, people aren't fully aware that they may not necessarily have to layer because they already have a full encompassing fragrance, right? Like, okay, so if you take the Burberry Her example, once again, and you realize that the fragrance pyramid has that structure, and along with it comes that Burberry accord, do you really need to layer? Because the more you layer fragrances that have accords and that, are from different houses, and this in and of itself is extremely overstimulating. You're not even sure what it is that you are putting on. So my brand, Sublime, in fact, is fully transparent with this. The note structure, the fragrance pyramids that I have listed on my website are point blank. There is no undertone, there is no background noise, there are no kind of, raging instrumentals to confuse you in this market so that you can enjoy your fragrance as the way it should be. Fully confident in what you have purchased is in fact a floral type, a gourmand, a unisex fragrance. I fully believe in this philosophy. So when it comes to fragrance layering, you are free to choose between multiple sublime fragrances if you want to. Not because the industry says you should, or has perpetuated an idea that layering should in fact be the rule. I think layering is kind of a conceived notion based on, obviously, capitalism. So the more products you buy, the more things that are in your arsenal, the body mists, the body oil, everything, eau de parfum, eau de toilette, that is to get you hooked in a cycle. However, it doesn't mean that you should do it. You should be free to choose what you would like to consume without pressure, without an image of someone who has all this money or pretends to have all this money, and this idea that is perpetuated from brands continuously. You shouldn't have to feel obligated to that constant upkeep, to that constant upgrade. You should feel whole and complete. Because guess what? You are a complete person. No matter what people try to tell you that you aren't good enough and you need to improve and you're not whole and you need to, I think healing is a absolutely beautiful thing. Absolutely think we're all healing. But the point is that this continuous improvement shouldn't make you feel like less of a person. Because, again, you are a person. No matter what anybody tries to tell you. No matter what the media says or tries to portray, at the end of the day, you choose. You get to make the decision. You call the shots. You absolutely call the shots. If you say, okay, today I don't feel like posting. I don't feel like being on social media. I don't feel like making a video. You are more than welcome to. You don't need to explain yourself. So are you gonna let your fragrance speak on your behalf? Or can you muster up the courage and the confidence in your choices? I think one of the many principles that I live by for many years has been Taoism. Taoism teaches you principles like impermanence. Impermanence is a fact. It's real. Nothing lasts. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is constantly changing. So why haven't perfume formulations